Yes, please.
Yeah, you made a slow start, but you improved really well at the start of the second half, and it just got away from you a bit in the last half an hour. What can you take from the match in general?
Well, it was a very open match from the beginning, very intensive match from coast to coast almost, and we didn't want it like this, but it was like this. So I think it was also a good start in the first half, and then we were way too open in the center and conceded a transition goal, and then we lost confidence and made too many easy mistakes. Perhaps the approach was a bit too optimistic. We wanted to control the game. We wanted to have the confidence to control. It was my approach today, and I take this on my shoulders because the guys were training very, very well, and there were a lot of good passages in our last game against Bayern with the ball. So we thought maybe we are ready and ready to do this today and under that kind of pressure. But the quality on the other side, I mean, it was a Premier League team that could immediately play in any competition in Europe. So quality was too high to dominate them with the ball, and we made too many easy mistakes. But this is not to blame on the guys. They do their best. Then we managed to have another great start in the second half, and played a little bit calmer, more control, a little bit more relaxed, I had the feeling. And so we deserved to have the equalizer, and they're okay with the second goal. And the changes then from Adrian and Cristiano Ronaldo, that was decisive, of course, and was like no chance to come back from that. And it's a lot of what is the word? It's a lot of responsibility on the shoulders for Las, for Adrian, and for Cristiano Ronaldo right now at the moment. But they're all giving their best, and that is right now what counts. And yeah, I'm very worried that we don't get injured right now because the intensity is so high. But okay, it's like this. Nobody likes to lose, but when you look at the sheets before the match, you know that there's almost no chance to compete on this level.
Yep. Hi, Thomas. When you look at, as you just said, as you look at the two sheets before the game, it was quite clear you're one of many leading European sides without sort of most of your established players at the moment. Arsenal are probably the one exception of the leading teams in Europe that have almost their full team ready and set to go. Do you think that could give them a real advantage this season? Give Arsenal?
Yes, of course. And are they in EuroLeague or not? Europa League, okay, yeah. So, I mean, we saw this with Chelsea. When they had no international games at all, they took the advantage, became champions 2 years ago, and of course, it's a big advantage there. These kind of pre-seasons are very complicated for the teams who have a lot of players in World Cup, and then there's a thing to manage that is almost not to manage. It's like to let the player rest, but they're of course our players. So like we want them back. We're a new team. We're a new coaching staff. So we want to adapt quick to the team. But the players are missing. So league starts very early. There's kind of a situation that is almost not to handle, but we have to handle, of course. And it's no time for complaints. So, but of course, it's a big advantage for Arsenal with a big team, with a new input, with new players, to have so many players here in Asia and to have this squad for the start. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Coach, you mentioned the fast start in the second half, particularly Timothy Weah started really well. What did you make of his performance tonight, and how difficult is it for him, obviously with such a big name in the world of football?
For him, with his big name from his
with
father?
obviously his father's legacy in the game.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it does not change anything. For him, of course, it's maybe it's harder for these guys to step out of the shoes from their name and from their father's achievements, and there are quite some achievements his father had. Yeah. So, but the thing is, I said this yesterday, Timmy has an outstanding combination of endurance and speed, and now we have to make him aware of this, that this is his main, like, I don't want to say the word, but it like his main weapon. That's not okay. So and he has to now he has to give this to the team and that he can understand the team, that he can understand the rhythm, that he can understand the game, when to attack, when to use his speed, when not to use, when to wait, when not to be too early in offside and things like this. So the basics are there on a very, very high level in an outstanding combination. But from now on, it's we push him forward, and when he's ready to be concentrated, to be willing to step up in every training, step by step, then we will push him.
Thomas, you talk about Arsenal having an advantage. From what you've seen tonight, do you think they can realistically challenge for the Premier League?
I guess so, but I'm actually like totally concentrating on my team, so I cannot predict. I cannot predict what's going on in Premier League. It's one of the toughest challenges in perhaps the toughest challenge in Europe. So they will fight for their way back in the top four, and all the best for them. But we have to do our homework, and there's a lot of things to do. We start very early next, and we have another game in 2 days, and this is where the focus lies now.
Question for Coach Thomas. Do you have any players arriving in Singapore over the next 2 days? Players like Cavani or Thiago Silva? And can we expect to see them play?
No, we will, Angel Di Maria will arrive tomorrow. 2 guys from the under-19 national team will hopefully arrive tomorrow. And they can perhaps play and help us against Atletico. Angel, he arrives tomorrow. I'm not so sure if it's if we can take the responsibility to let him play. Thiago Silva, Marquinhos will arrive here in Singapore in the next days. Then we fly there's another flight to China to play Super Cup. But it's like, of course, we need these players, but we have also the responsibility to not look like for the next 4 days, but for the next 4 weeks, for the next 4 months, of course, and we take training very seriously. So the thing is not that it's now not important, that you don't get me wrong. Now is important, but that's why now is important. It's perhaps important that we make him rest. We cannot go like, okay, we let them play and hopefully everything will be good. It's a very tight squad right now. Defensively, we need to add players to the squad. Otherwise, I have big concerns that we put too much on the shoulders from the players.
Thomas, with so many players missing from the big clubs across Europe, just what sort of impact will the World Cup have going forwards for you, for the big clubs in England, for the big clubs?
Has a big impact. Everybody wants to watch it. Of course, I watch it, and everybody loves the World Cup. But there must be a solution that in years of a World Cup, that it's possible to start the league later, to play longer in the next season, because there's normally no reason right now, why the league should end in May. Why can't we play until June or mid of July in the next year and give the player the rest? Because everybody loves the game. We love the game. Everybody wants to see the players. Everybody wants to see the top players. So why not let them rest also? Because why not let them rest? Because in the end, they are the guys who do the show. No, it's not about us coaches. It's not about anything from the staff or outside. It's about the players. It's a players' game, and we have to protect the players. And right now we do this. We take care of the players, but during seasons. And during pre-seasons, it gets complicated and it has a big impact. But we want the players to be at World Cup, and we want them to perform well, and we want them to play for their country, and they want as well. And it's like this. But what can I do? I'm a coach. I would love to have my players rest and then have them all together and work for them and build it up. It would be a perfect prevention also against any kinds of injuries. But it's like it is. Would not be the first time. I mean, we also when I was coach from Mainz and a small club in Germany, we always wanted to play the big teams in every 2 years after European championships and after World championships. You were very hungry to play the big teams right in the beginning of the season because you had the preseason. Sometimes we had 6 weeks preseason. We came 1 season off and we were ready to go from the first minute. And of course, and this can happen. Huh?
One more. You might.
Thank you. You looked quite animated before the penalty was given. It seemed to me that the assistant gave the penalty rather than the referee.
Yeah, seemed to me like this
and,
as well.
After the World Cup, about the World Cup, we had VAR. And what do you think is the best way to use VAR? Because it's obviously going to be used in the future. And in different leagues and different tournaments, there's different ways of using it.
Yeah.
What would you like to see?
I have to say that I loved it the way they used it in the World Cup. I really loved it, and it was like straight, it was clear. It was the possibility to go and check it if there's a serious or a heavy misinterpretation from the referee, because it's about to help him, and the game is about not many goals. Soccer and football is this game where sometimes one goal puts you on the street and one goal doesn't. So it's, in my opinion, it's very, very important that we control the goals and we control like situations if it's a penalty or not a penalty, and like it was used in the World Cup. I appreciate that a lot because it was I had the feeling that everybody knew about the way to use it, and so it is about justice, and nobody can seriously argument against that, I think.